In this video, I wanted to showcase one of my absolute favorite decks in TCG Pocket, and that's this Dark type Weezing deck. This deck is honestly so much fun, but it does require a lot of strategical moves for it to really work effectively. However, if you play it right, this deck is insanely powerful and actually counters the best deck in the game, which is Mewtwo EX. So what are the pros and cons? The pros is that this deck is very low energy cost, meaning that you can start making big plays very early in the game. It also does a lot of damage when played effectively. And like I mentioned before, it has a winning matchup versus Mewtwo, which is something that honestly most other decks can't say. However, the cons are that it is very reliant on Weezing. So if you don't draw it early on, it kind of messes up your plans. On top of that, the retreat costs are pretty high on Weezing, so you do rely on Koga and Leaf. So again, if you don't have those available, it becomes a problem. But I'll explain more on that when we actually get to the build. Now for the deck, your item cards will be simply 2 Pokeballs to get your basic Pokemon out as fast as possible. For your supporters, you'll be running 2 Professor's Research, 2 Koga, 2 Leaf, and a Sabrina. Now, the strategy of this deck revolves around setting up Weezing, poisoning the target, and then switching out to get bonus damage. Now, because of Weezing's high retreat cost, Koga and Leaf are your best friends, as they allow you to easily switch out your Weezing. Koga is the most effective, as it retreats back to your hand, meaning that you don't use up an energy, but also it'll fully heal Weezing from any damage that it took previously. And you also want to save Leaf for your other Pokemon so you can retreat those and bring back Weezing to just repeat the cycle. Now for your Pokemon, you'll obviously run 2 Coughing, 2 Weezing, and then 2 of each of the Scolipede line alongside 1 Tauros. There are some other variants that like to run Muck or Salandit, but honestly I find those variants to just be a little bit weaker overall. Alright, so here's how the deck works. You're going to start up by setting up your Weezing and poisoning the target while you set up your Scolipede in the bench. You're then going to proceed to bring your Weezing back into your hand using Koga, and putting the Scolipede into the active spot to deal as much damage as possible. With the poison damage, you'll be dealing 130 damage, which is a lot. But against Psychic Pokemon, it deals 150, which is enough to one-shot a Mewtwo EX. After that, you use Leaf to bring your Scolipede back, and you set up your Weezing once again, which is now fully healed due to Koga. And you can just repeat the same step over and over again until you can pretty much kill anything. Tauros works really well in this deck as an answer to other EX Pokemon, being able to deal 120 damage to any EX Pokemon, which is about the same amount that Scolipede can deal. So you have 2 very heavy hitters. And Tauros is a great backup plan in case you weren't able to poison that target. Overall, I think this deck is very fun and very strong. No use of EX Pokemon, just straight power using strategic moves. I really enjoy this deck, and honestly, I think you would as well. So let me know if you try it out and what other variants of Weezing decks you enjoy. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out my other TCG Pocket videos for more guides.